Only on 10 tonight. Some serious allegations of bullying at the University of Rhode Island. We first told you about this tonight at 6 o'clock.
Members of the softball team claim that they were mistreated by their head coach. But tonight, some are also asking if they were also mistreated by administrators. Adam Bagney joins us with more on that story.
Yeah, guys, these are allegations being levied by players and a former coach against Aaron Layton. But when the alleged victims reached out to administrators, were the complaints handled correctly? That part is up for debate. Former players and a former coach claim they were bullied by current URI softball coach Aaron Layton.
Literally, like, in our face, not like spitting distance. Like, I could feel the spit coming from her mouth.
Staring at us and start screaming at us.
It physically took a toll on me.
Alleged victims and their families say they reached out to URI administrators consistently, but said their complaints were either never taken seriously, handled improperly, or flat out ignored.
I don't know how any part of that administration can physically step away from the situation and look at it and say, we're doing the right thing.
NBC 10 has obtained a mountain of emails, meeting outlines, and other correspondence, which alleged victims and their families say shows that complaints were prevalent and that school officials were well aware of their concerns. The emails mostly feature exchanges with Athletic Director Thor Bjorn and Assistant Athletic Director Sue Bergen.
I just have a severe trust issue with any of the administration and adults, I guess you could say.
We don't have gate prices for their games. We don't make money off their games, so just throw them on the back burner.
Players say they complained about Layton's treatment in countless meetings over multiple years. And former assistant coach Rochelle Hall says when Layton found out about her meeting with Bergen, the head coach issued her a warning.
Coach Layton said to me, when you meet with Sue, that's fine. But make sure you have everything documented, because they're not going to believe you if you don't have proper documentation, because I have administration in my back pocket.
Despite submitting an 8-page document detailing specific mistreatment, Hall says Bergen refused to provide a plan to fix the problem unless Hall committed to returning for the following season. But without an outline to improve the situation, Hall says she felt forced to resign.
I didn't want to do it, but I knew that I had to, because they were unwilling to provide me with anything at all.
But Athletic Director Thor Bjorn says all complaints that enter his office are taken seriously. The AD says all concerns, specifically an investigation into Layton last spring, were comprehensively reviewed, and that only that complaint was, quote, outside the norm.
It was not something that sat just in my desk and pretended to let it go away. We spent a lot of time on it.
Multiple times I went into the meeting and I told them I would take a lie detector test to prove that I am not lying to you, that this really did happen.
There's always two sides to every story. And one of the things that I have to do is be able to evaluate both sides of those stories. And I don't expect everybody to agree with the decisions that I always make.
However, Bjorn did admit this was one of the toughest issues he's had to deal with as an athletic director, and left open the possibility that he made mistakes.
Nobody's perfect, and I think whenever you go through a certain experience, are there some things maybe you do differently? Maybe.
Meanwhile, the players strongly reject any insinuation that they were simply too sensitive under the tutelage of a tougher-than-average coach.
I can take yelling at me and do, like, at practice and trying to make me better and push me, but that's not how I felt with her.
It's not just one person or like one grade. We've all had multiple instances and issues and occurrences with this individual.
And Bjorn refused to answer questions about specific incidents, allegations, or people, citing personnel laws. We also asked to speak with Coach Layton, Sue Bergen, and President David Dooley, but those requests were declined. And if you missed our original story at 6 o'clock, you can find it online at turnto10.com. In the studio, I'm Adam Bagney, Sports Team 10.
And Adam Bagney has written an extensive companion piece to this story. You can also find that online at turnto10.com.
And covered your